mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
Sunny Hostin has been making headlines recently, but this time it's not for her controversial takes on The View. No, this time it was about her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, and let me tell you, the headlines were anything but kind. Dr. Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon, and his practice, Host Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, found themselves at the center of a major storm. The accusations, insurance fraud, kickbacks, and get this, a massive RICO lawsuit involving 180 defendants. This isn't just any case, folks. It's a full-blown blockbuster. But before we dive into the drama, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of the twists in this Hollywood-sized scandal.
Her husband accused of committing federal insurance fraud in a lawsuit. Okay, now let's read this. Rob, is this a video?
Well, I have this. I'll show you this about.
Let me just read this and I'll come to you. So, Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon and husband of The View co-host Sunny Hostin, is accused in December lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases. Wow. Hostin's attorney, Daniel Twites, denies the allegations, calling the lawsuit a meritless attempt by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier to intimidate doctors and restrict healthcare benefits. The case involves claims that Hostin performs unnecessary surgeries on patients after minor accidents without exploring less invasive treatments, with American Transit citing New York's 1974 no-fault law as contributing to widespread.
I think as the podcast platform, you have to have some sort of guidelines. How about a disclaimer on his podcast that says that's, this is misinformation? How about removing some of the podcasts that disseminate and they have made it out? And that's, here's where it gets really juicy. The lawsuit specifically points to Dr. Hostin, alleging he got financial incentives for recommending or performing arthroscopic surgeries, those minimally invasive joint procedures. On the surface, these surgeries seem like no big deal, but the lawsuit claims that many of them were completely unnecessary. Were these patients actually in need of knee or shoulder surgeries, or were they just part of a scheme to make a quick buck? If the allegations are true, this could turn into one of the biggest medical betrayals, leaving even soap opera scandals in the dust. Imagine trusting your doctor only to find out you were just a pawn in a financial game. That kind of betrayal hits deep. But wait, there's more. Enter American Transit Insurance Company. The plaintiff, Addict, claims they've been swindled out of millions, alleging they were billed for surgeries that either didn't happen or weren't necessary. It's like paying for a steak and getting tofu instead. But let's be honest, insurance companies don't have the cleanest track record either. They've been accused of underpaying doctors, denying claims, and using every loophole to avoid paying up. So here's the big question. Is Addict really exposing
it's always the people that always do the pointing, and it always comes back to them, all right? So when you said this is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York, you guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia case. Like the mafia one was number one. This one takes it over. So he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange.
A company that insured taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. Dr. Hostin's lawyer, Daniel Thwaites, didn't hold back. He called the lawsuit a meritless move by Addict to recover their losses, labeling it a last-ditch effort by a company in financial turmoil. His defense? Shift the focus onto ATIC and paint them as the real bad guys. Classic courtroom tactic. Turn the tables on your accuser, and it's making this courtroom drama even hotter. But hold tight, there's more. Enter Joe Rogan, podcast king and media critic. Rogan didn't pull any punches, calling out The View for what he saw as pure hypocrisy. He
If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to some nefarious stuff.
reminded everyone how Sunny Hostin used to throw shade at others, acting like she had all the answers, while possibly knowing about her husband's shady dealings. And then Rogan went all in, roasting the show, saying, if you average out the IQ of the View hosts, you might still struggle to hit triple digits. Harsh, definitely. But his fans were loving it. I saw you on The View. Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way. Well, it is the show that people love to hate. Yes, that's true. They get so much hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous.
I saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way.
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true.
They get so much hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean,
yeah.
it is a rabies-infested henhouse.
As Lyft drivers, he was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange for the kickbacks. But wait, there's more. Enter American Transit Insurance Company. The plaintiff, Addict, claims they've been swindled out of millions, alleging they were billed for surgeries that either didn't happen or weren't necessary. It's like paying for a steak and getting tofu instead. But let's be honest, insurance companies don't have the cleanest track record either. They've been accused of underpaying doctors, denying claims, and using every loophole to avoid paying up. So here's the big question. Is Addict really exposing a massive healthcare scam? Or is this just a desperate attempt to shift blame from a company teetering on the edge of bankruptcy? According to a new lawsuit obtained by Page 6, the orthopedic surgeon was one of 200 defendants named in one of the biggest racketeer influence and corrupt organization cases ever filed in New York. Emmanuel was accused of federal insurance fraud and, quote, meanwhile, while Dr. Hostin fights to clear his name in court, Sunny has stayed eerily quiet. Normally, she's all over controversy on The View, but when it comes to her husband's scandal, silence. Why the quiet? Is she sticking by him, trying to distance herself, or waiting for legal advice? Fans are buzzing, some thinking she's protecting her image, others wondering if she's just avoiding being next in line. Either way, her silence is speaking volumes. And here's the kicker. Dr. Hostin is just one of 180 defendants in this lawsuit, including other doctors, medical practices, and even hospitals. If these allegations are true, this could become one of the largest medical fraud cases in history. An entire network of corruption exploiting the healthcare system for millions. It's like a heist movie, but instead of robbing banks, these folks are robbing insurance premiums.
If you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television.
Sunny's dumb. Certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked and you went on stage with it and it's nothing
Just
there.
go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
I mean, Pat, you're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives are up to some nefarious stuff. Let's just not forget who she is. She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures, and look at her track record. How many times does she have to go on in the past 2 months and look at the camera and do a legal apology for all?
At the core of all this is a much bigger question. How much trust do we really have in the healthcare system when money seems to matter more than patient care? When doctors and insurance companies care more about their bottom line than people's well-being, trust begins to erode. Patients should feel safe walking into a doctor's office, not like they're walking into a financial trap. And don't forget, if Addict is using this lawsuit as a smokescreen to cover up their own financial mess, they're only making things worse. This whole situation is a tangled mess, and untangling it won't be easy. As of now, Dr. Hostin hasn't been found guilty. These are just allegations, but the courtroom battle is set to be a spectacle. Both sides are gearing up for a fierce showdown. So for now, all we can do is sit back, grab some popcorn, and try to figure out what's fact and what's fiction. Whether Dr. Hostin is guilty or innocent, innocent. This case is already exposing some uncomfortable truths about the healthcare and insurance industries. So buckle up. This scandal is far from over. With every new twist, we'll be right here, popcorn in hand, watching it all unfold like the courtroom drama it's destined to be. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a single update.